Hello everyone, and let's continue our E3 reaction videos with Sony now. Up next, Sony from... It was a few days ago. I didn't get to see this because it was like 4 in the morning it went on, so I decided, fuck that, I ain't staying up. So, the big reveal from Sony's E3 press conference was that there is going to be a new God of War, which is different. I mean, it's really, really different. I watched the gameplay trailer. It reminds me of The Last of Us. You've got Bearded Kratos is a bit of a dick to his son, but you can kind of it's an interesting concept for God of War. It is very, very different. You've got it's the biggest difference is the camera perspective. Normally it was a fixed perspective that you got, and you kind of just went around and wielded things. It was very Devil May Cry like. I was never a big fan of God of War. Was always a big fan of, I was more into Devil May Cry, but it was a very fixed perspective, and you like cleared out a room of enemies and the camera stayed still. This time it's a third person over the shoulder camera. It's very much like The Last of Us. I thought I was watching The Last of Us at times. It's like, you know, you've got Kratos and his son, Beardy Kratos and his son, a bit like Joel and Ellie. That's all I could think of when I was looking at it. Very, very different. I was never a huge fan of God of War. Am I annoyed by this? Not really. I kind of want to check it out now. You know, the gameplay seemed kind of similar to God of War, but you know, very, very different is all I can say. This is not really a God of War game. Really, I mean, it's got Kratos in it at least. It seems to be set. There seems to be a lot of Viking type mythology. The troll thing mentions Valhalla. There was a line touted out there, so I'm guessing it's gonna be a kind of Norse mythology. You still had Spartan Rage, which was one of your abilities. You're still a Spartan, I guess. But the first few games were set in sort of ancient Greece. This one seems to have a very Nordic tone. What we're gonna say. The Last Guardian got a release date that I don't believe. Okay, it's coming out in October. Believe it when we see it. Because I was like, The Last Guardian, Jesus Christ. Is that game finally? When was that first revealed? What, 2009, 2010 or something like that? Jesus, it is a long time since that's, but it has a solid release date. It has a date. And do you believe it? Do we trust it? We've been hurt before. We have been hurt by this. So, I don't know. It's coming out in October. I think it's October 25th or something like that. Horizon Zero Dawn looks really interesting, I thought. It is from the Guerrilla Games, who made the Killzone series on PS2, PS3, and PS4. There was a Killzone game at launch, so it looks kind of interesting. It is a kind of... It's a kind of future, it's like a sort of machine-driven future where the machines are animals. You know, the machines have got animal form. The machines have taken over, I'm guessing, and it's kind of a third-person Monster Hunter style game where you're hunting machines that are shaped like monsters, like mecha dinosaurs. Think of it as that. Looks really cool. It is kind of a bit like Ark Survival Evolved, a bit like that. Has a Mass Effect style dialogue system, which looks interesting. But yeah, you're gonna be crafting weapons. You're gonna have to take down giant mechs. You have to analyze attack patterns. You have to watch for their attacks, find weaknesses, etc. Very Dark Souls. It's like if they got Dark Souls, Mass Effect, Ark Survival Evolved, Monster Hunter, and Uncharted and put it in a blender, you'd get Horizon Zero Dawn. But looks really interesting, I thought. The one thing I would say about the demo is that they need to fix the texture pop-in, because it got annoying at times, especially with the grass popping in and the shadows on the grass got really annoying. And at least give us the option to turn off the goddamn motion blur. I got so annoyed watching that. It's like, Jesus. Tone down the motion blur or let us turn it off, please. For the love of God, I want the option to turn that off. There is Quantic Dream announced Detroit Become Human, which is another Quantic Dream game, so no doubt it'll use a stupid button to walk. I hated Heavy Rain, to be honest. I never tried the other one. What was the other one called again, with Ellen Page in it? Never tried that one, but just make a game. Okay, you're not making a movie. Make it a game, because you're releasing it on a gaming platform. It's priced like a game. That's all I will say for Quantic Dream. But yeah, I mean, what was the other one called? I forget about it. Heavy Rain was annoying. Who the fuck used R2 to walk? Seriously, I got pissed off with that game when I couldn't walk in a straight line. I got so annoyed with that game. The next big reveal was the new IP called Days Gone, which is like The Last of Us, with only you're a biker. It reminded me a bit of it reminded me so much of The Last of Us. I'm watching the trailer for it. I thought it was The Last of Us 2. Okay, I thought it was that. But yeah, it's a new. You're gonna be a biker. I don't know if it's going to be an open world game. It looks as if it could be an open world game. Maybe it's Sony's answer to State of Decay 2. That's really what it felt like. Looks interesting. You know, it's another zombie game. We've got quite a few zombie games in this. We've got Days Gone. We've got Dead Rising 4. And we got, what was it called? State of Decay 2. Or, yeah, that was it. Call of Duty got revealed, who cares? Right, seen one COD, seen them all. Insomniac are making a Spider-Man game, which, cool. You know, Insomniac, of course, the developers of Ratchet and Clank and, what was it, Resistance as well. So, you know, they're quite a decent developer, actually. I've never really played Ratchet and Clank. I like the Resistance games. They were pretty good. So they're making a Spider-Man game. Who knows if it's going to come out at the same time as the Spider-Man movie. There is a Spider-Man movie coming in 2017, so don't know if it'll be based on the movie or whether it'll be something different. Think about it. I mean, if it's as good as if it's the Arkham series for Marvel, then it's good. So something like that kind of quality, because that's probably the best superhero game on the market is Arkham City, probably still the best one. Arkham Knight was horrible. I only played it on PC, but still horrible memories of Batman Arkham Knight. Crash Bandicoot's getting an HD remake as well. The other thing, PlayStation VR. Take a look at that now. It's coming out. It's going to be $400. It's £386. I saw it on shop2.net. That's with the camera, which is required. Now, there is a Star Wars game coming out. It's a Battlefront. It's going to be Battlefront X-Wing VR missions. I don't know if it's going to be a standalone game, or whether it will be like or you'll need to own Star Wars Battlefront. But it looks interesting. I mean, you've got your basically first person. You're an X-Wing pilot, essentially. That's a cool concept and a cool idea for VR. There is Batman Arkham VR. It's coming, which there wasn't really a lot of gameplay footage about it. I'm guessing it's just a detective mode type thing as well. Farpoint VR, which is an FPS in VR, and the big one was Resident Evil 7 is coming. It's going to be a first-person survival horror game. Nothing like any of the previous Resident Evils. Well, we have had first-person Resident Evil games in the past, but this is a main number entry. If you think about games like, you know, PT was cancelled, Silent Hills got cancelled, more on that later. We'll cover that a little bit later. But yeah, it reminds me of that. I mean, I guess they're going for that kind of jump scare, first person survival horror game. They're going back. They got tired of trying to be Uncharted, trying to be Gears of War, trying to be Call of Duty. And now I guess they're going back to, you know, going back to the game's roots, if you will. But it is like all of those, you see them all on Steam Greenlight, these first-person survival horror type things with the jump scares. Hopefully they put some actual decent gameplay in it as well. You see him, you just wander around. You know, the trailer was wandering around an empty house. I probably will check out the demo. It's available for PlayStation Plus subscribers, all PlayStation Plus subscribers. It's coming on January 24th. It's gonna have, you don't need VR to run this. It's gonna have full PlayStation VR support. I don't know if it's a Sony exclusive, but I think the VR features are a Sony exclusive. So I think it probably will end up being multi-platform, I'm guessing, but looks interesting. Final Fantasy 15 is also getting VR support. You play as a different character in VR, and you can look around in first person. You can shoot a few things in first person. I don't know how it's going to interact with the game overall. I really don't know, to be honest. What was the last thing? Of course, we'll save it for last. Hideo Kojima, his new project is going to be Death Stranding. It's going to be called. It's got Norman Reedus in it. Naked, pregnant Norman Reedus was in it. If you like naked Norman Reedus, you're gonna like that. He has a baby attached with an umbilical cord, and then he pans down to his stomach, which is kind of cut open, which I'm suggesting he was pregnant. Like, maybe that's what they're suggesting. And, you know, we saw them work together for Silent Hills, of course, before Konami cancelled it, but now Kojima is an independent, I guess. He's an independent. Kojima Productions are independent now. They are doing PS4 exclusives. That looks interesting. Death Stranding. I'm a big fan of Kojima. We didn't really get a lot from the trailer. He kind of stands up, and then there's all these dead whales and dead fish, and he looks up at these sort of figures in the sky. Looks interesting. No idea what type of game it's going to be. I have no clue. But I'm interested. You know, Norman Reedus he's a good actor. You know, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, he's a decent actor. So yeah, pregnant Daryl lost his baby and a bunch of dead fish standing on a beach with a bunch of dead fish. That's the way that you could describe that trailer. But overall, they had quite a strong. Sony were quite strong, actually. Gave you reasons to buy PSVR. I mean, the Battlefront looks like a cool thing. I'll be honest, the X-Wing VR missions looks cool. Resident Evil 7 could be cool in VR. But yeah, I mean, at least they gave you a reason to buy one of their products, unlike Microsoft is like, hey, look at all this cool stuff on Xbox One. You can also have it on PC as well. You know, it's like, here's an Xbox One Slim, but there's another Xbox coming next year. It's going to be more powerful. I should point out there was no mention of PlayStation 4 Neo. No mention of it whatsoever. VR seems to be the thing. It'll be October 13th. PlayStation VR is coming around. Just under £400. The camera is required. The PlayStation gun looks ridiculous. It looks really stupid. I have no idea what they were thinking with that. It looks kind of stupid, but you know, the VR has the most potential of all the VR devices that are out there. I said that in my VR video, that the PlayStation VR has the most potential. It is cheaper than Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift is around £600. The Hive, the HTC, what is it? The Vive, whatever the hell it's called, Vive, whatever it is. The HTC one is I think £650, and this is under 400. So, and you know, there's a lot of PlayStation 4. 60 million PlayStation 4 shipped. And that's what you need to play it. You need a PlayStation 4 and a camera. The price of it without the camera, I'm going to have to look that up for you. I'm going to look it up right now. See how much it is without the camera. But with the camera, it is £389. If I can find the PlayStation. I was looking, it was on shop2.net. PlayStation VR. Surely it'll be on the front page, surely you'd think. Geez, now I can't find it. I'll search for it. PlayStation VR, 350 without the camera. Or the PlayStation camera. If you don't have the PlayStation camera, it is going to be required. 389. It's just one source. That's PSVR. You get the headset. I'm guessing you get everything that you need. You're getting the headset. You're getting the box thing that comes with it. VR headset, processor unit as well, and as well as the camera as well. So it's going to be 960 by 1080 per eye. The refresh rate is going to be 120 Hz or 90 Hz. What they've said. So there you go. That is the PlayStation VR. Probably get the most chance of success for VR. Am I interested in buying it? No. To be honest, I'm not going to buy it at launch. Probably might pick it up next year at some point. But at launch, I'm not interested in it, to be perfectly honest with you. But overall, it's got the best chance of success, I think, of all the VR devices. That Star Wars game, that Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing missions, I really am kind of sold on that. I kind of want to try that out. Resident Evil 7 is going to be good. But that's the thing about Sony, is they have the hardware partners to bring you that kind of thing. You know, Sony can pull it off, you feel. Whereas Oculus, you know, they're on PC, they're kind of independent. HTC backed by Valve, that does give them a slight edge, really, with the Steam integration and things like that, and getting, you know, VR games on Steam. But ultimately, I think PlayStation 4 has 60 million install base. I think it is around 50, 60 million. I can't remember the last thing, but it has a massive install base to PlayStation 4. And it's not hugely expensive. It's under £400 in the UK, which is good. I had a feeling it'd be like £450 to £500, which is overpriced. £389 is, you know, it's around the price of the PS4 when it launched. So, you know, it's 2 years after launch, well, 3 years after launch of the PS4, so it may have a chance of success. You never know. But anyway, that is all for this video, so thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.